Do subscribe to Bookstream YouTube channel to receive latest updates on this audiobook. Click the bell icon to receive updates on other book reviews. No More, No Less. Author Sandesh Shanmugam. Chapter 4. Evolution of Brain. Not long ago in the distant past, our ape cousin left the branch in the tree of life. Thus formed one of the complex structure on maybe the more evolved ape in the universe. That complex structure is nothing but brain. It is the epitome of all the creation, possessing intrinsic basic element or unit called neurons, which is a sign of intelligence. Inside the human brain, there are around billion neurons forming trillions of connections across the vast network. Brain itself is a creation by stars from the universe, forming a neuronal cluster in it. It is said that the number of neurons are equivalent to the stars present in our own Milky Way galaxy. The brain is divided into 4 lobes, namely frontal, parietal, temporal, and occipital, which performs various tasks. These tasks are controlled, monitored, and triggered through multiple neurons. The human brain is approximately around 1.5 kilos in weight. If one holds it properly, it would cover both palms of the volunteer. It is supported by the brainstem, which carries the necessary information in the form of nerve impulses through spinal cord. From the spinal cord, the signals are transferred for a person to work in order to perform complex tasks like writing, thinking, learning, even reading. Brain requires vast amounts of energy. Here, larger amounts of energy are indirectly pumped in from the heart in the form of blood. Loss of blood supply to the brain will result in sudden death. Even absence of oxygen will affect our brain at an earlier stage than the rest of the organs. Constantly, brain is drained in and out by blood and also by CSF, known as cerebrospinal fluid. Many scientists who have worked in sleep research linked the CSF to that of the dreams. When an individual sleeps, CSF is pulled into the brain from the spinal cord, which cleanses the damaged cells and other toxins in the brain. This may result in finding a solution for people suffering from insomnia. The frontal lobes help in processing the information similar to that of a RAM in our modern day computer. The parietal lobe as the command center for controlling the actions of the limbs, hearing. Occipital lobe is involved in vision. Temporal lobe is involved in the intelligence and links to linguistics and memory. A region in the brain called hippocampus is center for permanent memory, and also a small protrusion called amygdala. Many scientists and neurologists have believed that the amygdala is the emotional center or pain center for humans. All these lobes perform tasks in parallel with each other, and sometimes it also links to each other. Indeed, human brain is evolved from the animals. The most intelligent mammals next to humans are dolphins, whales, and elephants. We share common gene with all these species, including rats. Hence, a lab rat is considered to be the most common specimen used in the clinical trials. Even the scientific community has unveiled a statue for this mammal. The fissures and dents on the surface of the brain results in intelligence. The presence of more glial cells in the brain is also considered as a vital parameter to measure the IQ or intelligent quotient of an individual. After the death of Albert Einstein, few doctors performed autopsy and removed the brain without undertaking any permission from the family members. It was debated for many years. Few believed and few didn't. Finally, in the 80s, research were carried out on his brain and identified the presence of larger count of glial cells than that of the normal person. On the posterior back of the brain, in the lower end, there is a mushroom-shaped structure called cerebellum, which acts as the control center for posture and balance. The presence of various hormones control different metabolic activities on the human body. Coming back to the structure of the neuron, which resembles that of a tree, where the analogy fits easily and helps one to understand in a better way. A neuron typically consists of cell body. axon covered in myelin sheath and dendrites connecting to the next neuron. The biochemical reactions trigger the action potential in the cell membrane, which transmits ions across each other. The crossing over of sodium, potassium, calcium and chloride ions results due to the variations in their concentration through valid impulse. These electrochemical impulse travels across the vast networks and reaches the brain, which coordinates according to the response to the stimuli. Though elephant's brain size is bigger than us, the intelligence isn't much than us because of the loss in fissures or convolutions in the surface area. Neurotransmitters help to maintain and retain certain tasks performed by an individual. The variation in this quantity varies the personality of an individual. It is said that no two individuals' brains are similar. All the brains are different, not in morphological perspective, but in psychology. Due to variations in the neurotransmitters, results in one's psychic ability. For example, the presence of endorphins as a chemical increases one to feel good, which is felt when one tastes a chocolate or having a great time with friends. Even cuddling releases endorphins and reduces the cortisol, which is often considered as a cause for stress. Adrenaline is often referred by many for triggering fight or flight response, often resulting in faster heart rate, pupil dilation, excess sweating. All these features are present in the animal kingdom too. The only difference is we set our own rules through the source of knowledge and intelligence. Apart from these, there are special areas in the brain called the Wernicke's region or Broca's speech area, which as per many is considered a vital region for sensory perception. The process of brain's evolution took millions of years to progress. We need to thank especially the dinosaurs and that asteroid which killed the Jurassic era. Because without that impact, it was impossible for any of us, or who knows, one might still live a life of a rodent. For performing complex tasks, the energy required is equivalent of powering a small electric bulb. This natural energy efficient organ is powerful enough to create its own replica through both natural and artificial way. Without the advent of computers, the works on measurements would have to calculate with the help of logbooks and rulers. Again, it's the functioning of that cluster of brains which resulted in the innovation of healthcare to diagnose the disease present in the same brain. How poetic it is for the life here on earth to perceive it through our brains. There is no stopping of co-evolution in fellow animals, which will result in the dominance of their race. One might not be willing that to happen. Remember the movie Planet of the Apes? But there may be numerous possibilities. Within a span of 100 years, from 1900 to the year 2000, the works in science and technology is far reaching the stars. From the invention of automobiles to the development of International Space Station, the progress in the lifestyle through medicines is perplexing. The prevention of diseases of the previous century to the powerful vaccines to exterminate pathogens, the work involved is immense. We've flown to moon, scaled the highest peak of Himalayas, dived deep into the great trench of Pacific, jumped from the highest point in space, traveled through continents using metal tubes. All these without the evolution of the jelly mass wouldn't have been possible. Special credits needs to be given for the environment, DNA and habitable pale blue world. Thank you for listening to this audio recording. Do subscribe to Bookstream YouTube channel to receive latest updates on this audiobook. Click the bell icon to receive updates on other book reviews. Thank you.